Hi guys, Mrs. Scott here with our string art project. So what you have in your bag is a piece of cardboard or a piece of kind of like foam stuff with these numbers on the back, okay, and some string and a needle, and you're going to also need a piece of tape and some scissors. So this is the design that we're shooting for today. It's pretty simple, but if you have trouble with this and struggle with this, you can also string through the holes in any design that would look good to you. So if this method doesn't work well for you, you may be able to just adjust it and string the string through in any pattern you would prefer. But I'm going to teach you how to do this one here. So we've got two colors in the design. One color will be underneath and the other color will be on top. So I'm going to just get one ready, and you need a pretty long piece of string. Like, I would stretch the string out as long as you can between your two arms, probably 2 times at least. You can always add more string if you need to, but like I used all but this much is how much I have left. So start pulling it and stretch it as long as your arm lengths can go, at least 2 times before you cut it. And it's going to be pretty long to work with, but you kind of need it that way for this. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tape it to the back of your foam piece to keep it in place. So just the end of it, you just need to place a piece of tape over that. And then you need to go to the other end of your string, and you're going to loop it through your needle hole. Thread it through there. Okay? Now, if what I'm going to advise you to do is pinch. So you pinch right here where the string goes through the needle hole, and if you pinch there, then it shouldn't pull through. But if you have a hard time with it continuing to kind of like slide out of the needle hole, then you could just kind of tape this right here with just a little piece of tape to try to keep it a little more secure if you're not used to holding that thread in the needle and keeping it from slipping out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this with my, I'm trying to remember how I started this here, the number 8. The number 8 is going to be pointing down at my belly. So like the number 8 is facing me, okay? And so the first down through the hole number I'm going to go through is the number 8. And I'm going to pull all the string through that number 8. And if it starts to bunch, don't keep on pulling it. Just kind of loosen it up again and thread it through that number 8 hole. It's a little hard to work with at first because it's such a long strand, but if you take your time, you can do it. All right, so now we went through the number 8. Okay, now I'm on the bottom, I'm under now. Okay, my string is down here and I'm underneath my foam. So now I am going to go from the number 8 and I'm going to come up through number 2. Okay, so I'm coming up through number 2, and I'm going to have to do the same thing, pulling all that string through the number 2. So I'm just going to work on pulling that through without it snagging on me or piling up in a knot. If it starts to pile up in a knot, I need to loosen it back out and before it gets stuck, and just kind of start pulling through again. Have a little patience. Gets a little easier as the thread gets shorter. All right, so now I've come up, the 8's facing my belly, I came up the number 2. Now I'm going to go back down the number 8, okay? Back down the number 8. And again, pulling my string down through. It's a little wacky here. You can see, even with mine, it starts to want to knot up because I have so much thread. But that's okay. I'm just going to work with it. I'm going to be patient. And I'm going to keep on pulling it till I get the whole entire piece through. So now it looks like this. All right. So then, now we're going to, we've got it on the bottom now, okay? And now I'm going to come up instead of through 2. 2 was the last one I did. Now I'm going to come up from the bottom up through the number 1. Okay, and I'm going to pull all that yarn through the number 1. Okay, and I'm going to continue going down the number 8 again. Okay, so I'm coming back for this whole first color of white that I'm using. I'm going to continue every time to go back through this 8, this number 8 hole. Okay, so now it's time to go down through the number 8. And it's going to start to look a little bit like a fan. The string's going to resemble the look of a fan because it's going to keep looping around. Now I'm on the next number in order here is 28. So now that I'm underneath, okay, I've got to come up through a hole, so now I'm coming up through 28. And I'm going to not change the number that I'm going to go back down through. I'm going to keep going down. Came up through 28. I'm going to go back down through the number 8. I have a little knot here. So this is a good example that this does happen, and you just have to loosen it back up. Fix it a little, and then it should be okay. There we go. All right, and so then I'm going to come down 8 again. Okay, so hopefully you're getting kind of the idea by now that we're going to just keep going down through that number 8. As long as I'm using this white thread, I'm going to be going down the number 8 when I go down. So now I'm coming up my next number. Okay, the last time I came up 28, now I'm coming up 27. I'm pulling it through. Okay, and back down number 8 again. Okay, and every time I want to make sure these are tight, like they shouldn't be, I shouldn't have any ones that are loose like this here or here. This is what it looks like so far here. I shouldn't have any that are just like loosey-goosey. They should all be not, you know, super tight, but they should all be tight where they're not flappy. Okay, all right, and I'm just going to keep following my pattern, and I'm going to keep looping down through 8, up through 26, down through 8, up through 25, down through 8, up through 24, down, up, all the way around like a clock. And I'm going to stop when I get to 13. Okay? And as soon as I loop 13, I'm going to loop down. So, let's see. I'll be going down and then up through 13. Okay, so it'll be up, and then I'm going to cut it and tape it to the back. So the number 13 is your last hole with the white. Okay, and then you're going to tape it.